Hey, good morning, Aaron. This is a rather quick demo video for you for your KR Sabers Luke Hero. This is a saber that you had bought off eBay, which was kind of funny because you had sent me the shipping label from the box that you received the saber from the seller on, right? And you had thought that this saber had been in my possession before. Really, not this saber, but I had done business or I've done sabers for the guy who sold you this from eBay. So that was an old box that I had obviously shipped to him, and then he reused it to ship you this guy. This is a fairly new saber. I don't know that it's been on the market that long, maybe a year or so. But anyway, you sent it to me empty. You had a very unique request, something that I haven't done in a very long time, which was to put an audio jack in the chassis in lieu of a speaker. So that's what I did. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do that for you. I told you I'd give the Saber a look when it got here, and obviously I was able to do that. All right, so this is a 2-button setup. Your front switch is going to be right under the clamp card right here. You'll hear that tactile when the chassis is in it. So that's your power. Back here, that's your auxiliary. You are set up for a recessed blade. All right, so you've got a Carl Chen V4 blade connector in there. As you can see, it's inside the cup, ready for a recessed blade. On your notes that you sent me with the Saber, which I appreciate, by the way, it's always nice to have something to refer back to. You mentioned wanting a blade. That's not something that we had talked about when I initially took on the commission. I'm happy to do it. I just needed to order the LED strips, which I did this morning. I don't keep those in stock because I don't typically make blades. I've got all the blade material. I'll have the actual LEDs by Tuesday from Amazon, and I'll get the blade made up for you, and I'll send you a short demo video showing you the blade working and everything like that. All right, but for right now, we're just going to do a demo of the Saber because it is pretty much done. All right, you've got your red and green acrylic arrows here that do light up, so I'll show you that as well. To get to the chassis, what you want to do is unscrew this guy. Now, if you're not careful, you'll take off the back part. And I was able to not do that here, but let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, we'll put this off to the side. This piece right here comes off. All right, you don't have to take it all the way off, but the intention of loosening this guy right here is to take this piece and clock it however you like once it's on the Saber. Once you get it to where you want it, then you can come back and you can tighten this up and it keeps this in place. All right, so we're just going to tighten that up for now. I did ask permission from you to drill out that hole for the cord. You said that was okay, so I tried to do that nice and clean, and everything looks good there. I do have a spacer in there, and that stays in there. All right, but when you take this off, you'll see your chassis here. You want to very carefully pull it straight out. Don't twist it. It's not going to twist anyway, but just pull it straight out. I've got a battery in here for now because I was outside testing it, so we'll take that out. And this is what your chassis looks like. So it came with a switch PCB that has the red and green LEDs on it already. So I incorporated that into the chassis. You can see this little channel running the length here, and it stops right here, right? That is for a grub screw that you can see right up top over here. It sticks right into the ID of this Saber, and it is to make sure that this chassis stays clocked correctly, because these switches right here are just plungers. They come down and they plunge right onto these switches. All right, so that's what you've got there. Your Proffie board's up top here. It is a snap fit down into the chassis. You can pull it up if you like, though I do this on purpose. I make it to where you don't have to. Access to your SD card and your micro USB is right there. You should never have to lift up the board. Get a 90-degree data cable and you're good to go. All right. You've got a kill switch right here in front of the board. Very easy to come over here and flip back and forth. Shouldn't be any hassle at all. All right. You've got a 7-pin PCB right here that makes contact with a blade side PCB in there that you can just make out. And of course, that's how we get power to your blade. All right. And then here is your aux cable. It just says Luke Hero there in Arabic. So what I did was I made a piece and I installed this into that round piece, and then I glued and press fit everything into the chassis to make it nice and clean. But that is what you've got there. So I can't test this here. What I did was I went out to my car because I searched everywhere in my house on all the different, I've got a couple different sound bars and Bluetooth speakers and stereos, and nothing had an aux jack except for the stereo in my Jeep. So I went out to my Jeep, plugged it in, make sure everything worked, and I'm going to take a small snippet of that and I'll insert it into this demo video so that you can see that. One thing I didn't do while I was out in my Jeep, and I didn't think about it, I was just excited playing around with it because it is a total different experience hearing it like that. I didn't cycle through every sound font in that video, but I got all the sound fonts on here that you gave me. So if you look here, most of them are Kyberphonic fonts. You've got a K-Sith font in here, the Proto, and you know, the rest from Kyberphonic. So all of those, although it says 10 for the fonts, when you add up the variations, which I did put all the variations in there, it came closer to 15 fonts. So all 15 fonts are on your SD card. There's a copy of the config file that I used on the SD card, so you can see what I did there, and you can build from that in the future or change it if you like. All right. You've got a removable battery right here, so spring side over here for the negative side of your battery. This does take an 18650 Keep Power battery. I like these because they are protected cell, so they're pretty much the standard when it comes to Sabers. All right, so we're going to snap that battery in there. It snaps in there nice and tough. We're going to come over here and flip the kill switch, and although we're not going to get any sound, you will see your red and green LEDs light up. So flip that. You see that going there. Now you're going to have to line up this channel right here with that grub screw, and the easiest way to do that is to line up your two tactile switches with the top of your box. All right, just come in here and very carefully do that. I didn't make this grub screw to where it's not a twist lock, it goes straight in. So if you've got your tactile switches in a perfect alignment with the middle of your clamp box, your chassis should go right in. All right, so just very carefully put it all in there. It goes in there like that. You can come over here and put this in there. Screw this all the way down and tighten it up. With that spacer that I've got in that pummel, when you tighten this entire assembly up, it pushes the chassis forward into that blade side PCB that we've got right here, and it lights up, or it brings power to your blade. So if we hit power here, you'll get power to your blade, right? We can twist it off. Auxiliary goes to another sound font. Of course, you're not going to be able to hear it right now. And you've got a different color there. We'll go ahead and turn that off. And then you can see your red and green LEDs are basically the cave scene until we turn the Saber on. The green stays on and the red goes off. All right, but so you know all of your LEDs on that PCB are firing up. And then, like I said, I will send you a separate video when I make the blade to show you that the blade works. So I did open up that hole just enough where you can take any cable like this and you can just simply plug it right into your chassis like that, and then into your stereo system or whatever you plan on doing. All right, so at this time, I'll go ahead and I'll insert that video I took from a Jeep.
Disgraceful.
All right, so now we're going to take this back off. Put that off to the side. Very carefully just pull this straight out. You see your red and green LED is going until we come over here and we flip our kill switch, and then it kills power. All right, and then you can take your battery out from the positive side over here by that PCB with your finger. And that is basically your Luke Hero. When putting this in or taking it out, just kind of take your time. Make sure you get it all nice in there and it goes in. Everything's good to go. All right, so it should be a pretty simple setup to manage. Let me know if you have any questions. This won't be the last video that I send you. but I just kind of wanted to make this morning and get this out of the way to show you that it's functional. All right, thanks, Ehren.